Hey guys, what's up? We have some more information about brand new cards used to support Utopia, and if we didn't already have enough support for the Cyber's monsters. It doesn't mention how many cards will be present within this special pack, but from the looks of it, it may be a pre-constructed deck, so provided that they don't turn these into random packs within the TCG, you may only have to buy 3 to get a fully set out deck that you could then modify. The first card is Powercode Talker. This is a Fire Cyberse Link monster with a link of 3, and the link points are to the left, to the right, and the bottom left. It has 2,300 attack, and it requires 3 monsters, and its effects are 1. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster. That monster's effects are negated until the end of this turn. 2. Once per turn during damage calculation, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you contribute 1 monster this card points to. During this damage calculation only, this card's attack becomes double its original attack. The first effect can be very useful. If your opponent has a monster effect that causes you significant problems, such as by protecting their other monsters, or preventing you from attacking more than once a turn, to give but a few examples. However, since this can only be activated during your own turn, this can be pointless, especially with the increase of quick effects to other monsters, especially smaller monsters. As for the second effect, this effect is good as it becomes 4,600 attack. This can run over most monsters and without much effort. This card is better placed as a secondary link monster because this way you have 2 link points on your side of the field rather than the one if it was summoned first. This effect can respond to either player's turn because it says when it battles, so any card that targets this for an attack can enable this effect to trigger. The downside of this effect is, why would your opponent, if they had the choice, want to target this card for an attack? Better to remove the monsters enabling this effect first, and then work on Powercode Talker last, so it cannot work with its effect. There are a couple of cards that can help to stop this, including Staunch Defender and Battle Mania. Of the 2, Battle Mania is better, as it forces your opponent's monsters into attack, and are forced to attack a particular monster. As for its summoning condition, well, this is easy, as it requires only 3 monsters. It does not specify an archetype or any particular type to bring out, so it can be run within any deck, as its effects don't specify a type either. Now, as for the second card, we have Dongle Acorn. This is a Dark Cyberse level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense. And its effect is, you can only use this card's name's effect once per turn, so this is a hard once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon 1 Dongle token. This is a Cyberse Dark level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense. This card enables you to bring out a token, therefore with generic link monsters, you can bring out a link 2 without needing too many resources to set it up. However, this card must be used immediately, if intended, as it has no stats. Therefore, if your opponent has piercing damage, you could end up with significant damage. The downside of this card is the effect is a hard once per turn. I don't understand why they would do this. It's not like they made this card particularly strong, and so any potential with this card is lost. I would imagine Konami did not want any loops done with this card, and took the steps necessary to prevent its full use. The last card is Packet Line. This is a normal trap card that says you can only activate 1 card with this card's name once per turn. During main phase 2, special summon any number of level 2 or lower monsters with different names from your hand, deck or graveyard to zones on your field that linked monsters point to. Now, this can be very useful provided you can get out a link 2 or 3 monster. In doing so, you would be able to bring out 2 or 3 level 2 or lower monsters. This may not seem like much, but being able to summon them from your deck means you can either go into another link monster, an Xyz monster of a rank 2 or 1, and a synchro monster between the levels of 2 to 6. You have a lot of options with this card and can respond to the way in which your opponent has their field set up. The main downside of this card is that you will have to run a certain level of level 2 and 1 monsters. For certain decks, this may not be an issue. For example, Dustins or in low-level beasts. This could end up clogging your hand, as you could draw into the lower-level monsters without having this trap card. Overall, I would consider this to be a worse version of Obedience Schooled, as at least that enables you to bring out monsters without having anything to start off with. Typically, if you have a link monster on the field, then either you have the advantage, or at the very least you're doing moderately well. So what do you guys think about these cards? Which is your favourite, and which don't you like? For myself, I like Powercode Talker, as it is able to be splashed into any deck, and that double attack effect you don't see inbuilt in many monsters. The only other one I can think of is Cyberblader, and even then it would require your opponent to have exactly 2 monsters on their field to work, or Utopia the Lightning. Leave your comments down below, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.